honesty, complete integrity, who cared deeply about the future of this country. He also was a Christian brother, and that certainly affected so much of what he did. But Philip studied Arabic culture and language while he was working as a scientist in the Middle East before he became a founding member of the Department of Homeland Security in 2002. The book he wrote, See Something, Say Nothing, and it documented the Obama administration's effort to obfuscate the role that radical Islam played in numerous Muslim terrorist attacks that took place in America from 2008 to 2016. One review of Philip's book described it as an expose of a politically correct federal government that capitulates to a subversive enemy within and punishes those who reject its narrative. In 2016, as a whistleblower, he testified before the Senate Judiciary Committee, chaired by then-Senator Ted Cruz, to allege that the Obama administration had acted irresponsibly concerning Islamic extremism. Philip Haney claimed that the administration had acted in favor of political correctness rather than take actions that may well have prevented the June 2016 Pulse nightclub shooting in Orlando and the San Bernardino shooting in December of 2015. He was investigating groups that helped radicalize normal Muslim believers, radicalizing them to the point that they would commit acts of terror. And he found some ties. And it was amazing when he got a hold of a string, how he could trace that string back to its root. Hundreds of pages of information that would have helped keep America safe for the future. There was an opportunity the House of Representatives had. We were in the majority. He could have been brought in as a specially requested agent for the House. Apparently, there were people that were afraid that he had so much information, the Obama administration might come after anybody that was attempting to help or protect him and the valuable information he had. But he wasn't brought in. He was told, oh, go file an IG complaint with Homeland Security Inspector General. I implored him that would be a mistake because the Inspector General at that time at Homeland Security had already been cited for falsifying the Obama administration. We knew that it was not going to be a fair Inspector General investigation, and in fact, he became an official whistleblower. He became a whistleblower, filed his IG complaint about the Obama administration deleting so much data from its database to help identify terrorists. And clearly, for anybody that was involved in that effort to purge our computer data on foreign terrorists, his complaint could be seen as a threat to expose people within the Obama administration who were involved in purging, or as one of our intel people, Homeland Security, like DOJ, began to blind itself of the ability to see our enemies. That's why, even though he was investigating Tablighi Jamaat and the manner in which normal Muslim believers were converted into radicals that would be capable of murder, there were a number of things that he noticed that they did to move people in that direction. He identified that the people in San Bernardino who killed, I think it was 14 Americans there, that if he'd been allowed to pursue his investigation, would have identified those people and just have the ability to see our enemy. So, and we also had not been training people. Philip had identified a female in California involved in the shooting. She took on the name of a famous radical Islamic male terrorist. If he had been allowed to question her, he would have immediately known there's something very wrong here. Why would you take on the name of a male terrorist, historic terrorist? But it had been made very clear in the Obama administration that if you are too active in pursuit of radical Islamists, then it's not going to go well for you. And in fact, after he filed the IG report, I think it was an effort for some in the Obama administration to protect themselves. We've now seen it occur with the Trump campaign. There was a grand jury that was convened to go after and try to destroy Philip Haney's life. His wife, Francesca, was a college professor, and the trauma of being raided, constantly harassed and questioned, seeing one of the finest, most honest and honorable protectors of America in our history, Philip Haney, she saw him just being savaged. And it ended up resulting in her going to the hospital. Whether it was a full-blown nervous breakdown or not, I'm not sure. But it sent her to the hospital to have the United States government go after a man she knew was a hero for and to the United States. Well, Philip was so meticulous, so organized. They couldn't find anything with which to indict him. They were trying to drag up something, but he had well documented everything he'd ever done. It's the way he was. It's who he was. They couldn't find anything to indict him. They'd already moved him in basically a closet, kept him from doing the job he was the best at in protecting America. And finally, they basically said, well, we can't find anything. To agree to retire, then we'll let everything go, but you got possession. Well, he retired, and that's when he wrote the book, See Something, Say Nothing. He had been savaged by his own government, his own country that he was trying to protect. And I'd commented to him, you know, in his book, he had given me a draft to read before it was published. I said, you know, Philip, you don't really name a whole lot of names in this book about where the problems have been. He said, I know, this is just the first. I'll do another that names names. And that's what he was working on. After Francesca had died about a year ago, he moved to California and was near his sister, Diana. And I was so thrilled to get a text from Philip saying appeared he would be coming back to work for the United States government and finally be able to put to full use his incredible knack for rooting out terrorists. I was amazed because When you met Philip, he you weren't sure. He was kind of a quiet guy, and you didn't realize at first just how brilliant he was. Friday, and he was found in his car with a gunshot wound and a gun nearby. I think the Amador County law officials are doing a decent job. They seem to be very committed. But his book was going to name names of people that put this country at risk. About his safety, with all the information he knew and the people that could have gotten in trouble. And we had a mutual pact. If it said either one of us end up having committed suicide, then the other is going to make sure that truth wins out. He is so organized. A horrendous time with his wife having been made ill by the raucous Obama administration coming after him to try to shut him up. And see, that's what a real whistleblower, he testified before the Senate. That's what a real whistleblower does. A real whistleblower does not remain anonymous. They come forward, subject themselves to cross-examination, and supposedly have protection. But that's not what happened in the Obama administration. If you were a whistleblower, in fact, the Obama administration prosecuted more people for leaking than every other administration in our country's history added together. They went after whistleblowers.